Alright, response video to Pyrrho. I really don't have time for this. God damn it.
Break even, but if you really strictly try to break even, how you know you're not going to subsidize it? You have to have a little bit of a margin.
Yeah, whatever. Look, we talked about this whole thing. Basically, the idea was that you were going to put in the labor, I was going to put in the machine, and we were just going to create this thing. And if we lost all the money, so the fuck what? And if you lost your labor, so the fuck what? Just to get it started. And if that's what it cost. If it couldn't pay us back eventually, too bad. Fine. That was my understanding.
And then it also seems like, I mean, I guess we do have a misunderstanding about the dollar a month thing. That's what I've been, you know, I've spent hours.
No, I'm sorry. There's no misunderstanding. And if you really were going to force me, if you want to put up some real money, like a couple $100, I'll bet you a couple $100. All right, there's a tape. I've said it explicitly. You said it explicitly. You agreed to the concept that, yes, you understood my concern, that I don't want to be subsidizing other people's content, that everybody would pay their own way, that it could be done. You said those damn words. So this is just fucking bullshit. You're just rewriting history as you do every fucking time you make a video. You just ignore what you say in Stickam. So why the fuck would I want to have a conversation with you any other goddamn place? Because every other goddamn place you say one thing and then you get on YouTube and you say something fucking else. Fuck this bullshit.
Bitrate calculators for flash streaming and on, trying to figure out if this was possible for me, for, you know, someone averaging a video a day, trying to put up a video with my kind of audience, you know. So I have to have something to work from. Now, I think that can be compatible. It ought to cost $1 a month in some typical case.
Yeah, well, whatever. I think the whole idea is just silly. Charging people $12 a year is a silly number. The whole thing is stupid. Anyway, like I said, I don't want any flat rate crap. I don't want any subsidy crap. I wanted a place where people could go buy hosting space for what it cost, period. That was my vision. It's not your vision. That's understood now, but you agreed to it before, so fuck you. This is bullshit.
Compatible with your idea of charging exactly for the resources, but I've tried to explain two things to you. I mean, one...
No. You agreed, okay? So don't tell me this try to explain thing, because I explained it to you why any other mechanism is bullshit, in my opinion, okay? That is something I don't want to have anything to do with, and I made that fucking goddamn clear.
I'm not writing that system. What's going to turn the access log of the computer into this charge accounting log? You need to make some database tables and keep...
No, you don't have to do anything that complicated, okay? 10 hours, 12, 15 hours, I can strip a goddamn database file. All we need to know is how many times the files were accessed and whether the video was actually played. Alright, so the duration of how long the page was open, that would be good enough for what we need, and that can be, I can strip that out of the goddamn file with JavaScript. So fuck you, it's not going to take 50 years of work.
Track of all of that stuff. I don't want to do that. That's an overhead for me. That's labor. That's months of labor to make a system.
Yeah, right. Months. Yeah, right. Yeah. 2 days. All right, so fuck you. I'll do it, okay? I'll do my thing. You do your thing. Fuck this bullshit. Fuck this bullshit.
And then two, let's say, you know, we're going to pay for the first year of the machine, but, you know, let's say we have 50 users and they pay for their bandwidth. Well, we have to buy a whole machine. We can't just buy a fraction of the machine that they needed. We're paying the whole machine. So don't you understand?
Yeah, weird. No, I was going to be paying for the whole fucking machine. So let's understand that, and the bandwidth for the first year. So yeah, I was on the hook for some big fucking bucks, and you're just fucking pulling bullshit here. You're changing the fucking story. Yeah, right. Now I'm the unreliable one. I'm the one that you have some trust issue with, right? Fuck this bullshit.
Pay the internet service provider a flat rate to use up to a certain amount of bandwidth. So if you want to charge people exactly what it costs, you need to take the machine, figure out how it was used. Whoever used it more, they pay the bigger percentage of what is going to be a flat cost.
Yeah, this is really hard to do. Like I said, we have this on tape, these conversations. We talked about the fact that every 3 months you could figure out how much it's costing you, and every 6 months you could change the rate that you charge people for their use. Not complicated. Really not complicated.
Goes to the machine somewhere. Okay, I also need to make clear that, I mean, we've all had our website ideas in time, and a lot of us have had this, video site. I've seen a lot of people indexing sites. I've seen you indexing sites. See Fred totally into that approach. I told him I think there is a role for that approach, that we still need this video server, which you seem to agree to me. But I have spent hours calculating these things, seeing what was needed to be done. And this is
yeah, but whatever. I mean, you keep talking like you're the only guy that's done any of this shit. If you will remember, if one of the people that pointed out to you in the beginning that some of your numbers were fucked. So yeah, I've done a little thinking about it myself.
Yeah, I have. I'm not just for hire. Somebody can't just buy me a machine and I give labor for free to do what they want. We have to agree. We're going to write up an agreement. And you were confident it would be super clear. So, that hasn't happened. No hurry. That's fine. But
yeah, it did happen. I said, well, why don't we just have the public conversation, then it's on the record. Well, we did have the public conversation. It was on the record, and you ignored that record right now. So, bullshit. This is just bullshit. It's not that complicated agreement. It really isn't. And the fact is, we already agreed to it, and you're already changing the terms of the agreement. So it's bullshit.
And think about that when you talk about why are we having to re-agree things every 2 weeks, is because we haven't finalized our agreement, and there's certain things that you can have.
No, I know it was finalized. Okay, it was an oral agreement. We finalized it. We stated what was the plan was, and then I said, okay, let's move on to step 2 because now I'm going out and purchase this machine. So the guy's looking into to pricing the machine, and that was the commitment. But fuck it now. Fuck you.
Whatever impression you want, but they're just reality. Like, who is going to write the system that keeps track of the accounting the way you want? I'm not. I want to get a machine that costs a certain amount and enough people together. My approach is like, if you get a machine that costs a couple $100 a month to keep going, then it has to be good enough to sell.
Well, if your machine costs a couple $100 to keep going, then it's a piece of shit. All right, I really don't expect to pay $2,000 for a fucking server, and I got to pay a couple $100 a month to keep it going. That would be bullshit. I mean, a couple $100 for the bandwidth, I could understand, but see, you're not even articulating anything rational here. You're expecting $200 worth of failures on your server every month?
At least a couple hundred people. And I'm trying to do my estimations so that, to the degree I'm wrong, I'll be underestimating. It'll support a lot more people. And when I say support 200 people, I mean, their audience of 200 each or whatever per video as well. Now, if people go over that and get really popular, I mean, I agree with your idea. Let's have some sort of a metering system.
Well, now why don't you just talk out of both sides of your face? I mean, there's just no point in saying, okay, let's have $1 a month, and now let's have a metering system. What sense does this make? This doesn't make any fucking sense.
And that doesn't mean it'll be as detailed as you want, because that kind of thing doesn't just magically create itself. You have to create a system like that. It's far easier just to create tiers, do the kind of estimates that I do to figure out what will probably work and make sure you estimate enough so that you can afford your bottom line equipment costs.
Yeah, whatever. This is just horse shit, okay? Whatever system you're going to use to figure out that somebody just had a viral video and just used, just got 1,500,000 views and just cost us in bandwidth, $400. Yeah, we can figure that out.
So what I'm in for, what will take enough hours of mine, is setting up a ClipBucket server, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not even glued to this whole ClipBucket thing, okay? So if you're just going to use ClipBucket shit, PHP bullshit fucking software, then maybe that's a loser right there. Because, all I'm seeing is flaws in that goddamn software. Maybe the uploader works. I don't know. I have no clue. I haven't tried on a real server yet, right? I mean, you can't configure it to work on the shared server space I have. So you can't turn it into an uploader on that space. But yeah, I mean, you got to be able to configure the converted files. And again, we disagree about that. I'm not so glued to this whole idea of converting files. I'm almost saying let people do that on the client side. Why should that be a server obligation? So let people, if people have any content worth seeing, if their producer's worth a damn, they're able to convert a video file into a format, and they're able to convert it into an MP3. Now, if they can't accomplish that task, then their video is probably a piece of shit anyway.
Stream video itself and upload in a couple additions so we can do that sort of thing. And some additions so that we can plug into it as easily as need be. If ClickBucket isn't helpful, we'll go in there and change it so that it can serve up for these secondary side ideas. And that's it. I'm not on board for taking 6 months and writing the, pay for what you use exactly. Why do you think they do this flat rate stuff? The internet's kind of...
yeah, whatever. We already talked about this, and again, I'm really not gonna argue it. Okay? Yeah, the deal was that you start off at the base price, and that if your bandwidth use is high, and you're making videos of whatever, some kind of weird, bizarre bullshit. And yeah, people are coming to see the weird, bizarre bullshit, and you're selling ads and all that shit. That's right, your rate goes up based on your bandwidth use. You pay for what you use, and that's what I want. I want a system that allows me to pay for what I fucking use. I want to take responsibility for my videos. I want to take legal responsibility. I want to take financial responsibility. That's the system I want. I don't want a subsidy system. I don't want anybody coasting along on my coattails, and I don't want to be sitting on anybody else's coattails.
That's the whole net neutrality. Is there's a sort of a flat rate instrument to it, even though you do pay.
Yeah. Well, I don't agree with net neutrality either. Okay, I think that's all bogus bullshit. Just a bunch of goddamn people thinking I'm going to upload steal everybody's software and movies and all this shit, and I want to upload them all onto the internet, and I want to do it at the same rate you pay for your broadband at home. So, yeah, I'll be a real pig user. I'll drive up the cost of the business to serve me with my what I want. I mean, it's like having a buffet lunch and some 700-pound pig comes in and eats 678 pounds of shrimp or something. Why the fuck do I want to subsidize the asshole? Fuck net neutrality. Fuck that bullshit. You use it, pay for it.
Amounts of bandwidth, you do it in these thresholds, and so it's easier to do the counting.
Yeah, well, whatever. I didn't argue against any fucking thresholds, did I? No, that was exactly what I was arguing for. So this is, again, just bullshit.
But I'm not spending 6 months to write, even though I agree that it'd be a neat system. Who's going to write that? You.
Well, yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, that's right. No, it's no fucking... I've seen server log files. I've even extracted some information out of them. But yes, I can. Fundamentally, I do it even on the client side. I can have a client side program slice and dice the motherfucking log files for the information necessary. No problem.
So what are we going to do in the meanwhile? So we might have the cart before the horse, because there really should be some sort of an organization. And it'd be great to have an angel investor that gets the organization going for a year. But I think you'll want to have you're going to want to have it all designed and defined. Especially you, because otherwise you're just a big fat cat capitalist owning a website, and you'll hate yourself.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that so far. Okay, there's no capitalism going on in anything I'm touching on the internet. So again, I don't have any worried about me. I don't have any worries that Gary's going to go all capitalist or something. So I'm not concerned. Okay, I really am not concerned.
So, my position is that I proposed this to the community. It's still been proposed to the community. I appreciate that you are one of the more motivated people, as am I, and I think that's reason enough to consider, well, it could possibly be done as started with a partnership of two. But we're going to have to figure out these details. I'm using as a calculation, as a price point, that I would like my kind of video making to be doable for $1 a month.
Yeah, whatever. Like I said, $1 a month is fine if that pays the bills, but if there's only 6 people on the website, it's not going to pay the bills. So that's a problem right there. Um, but yeah, what it takes, I mean, the ideal is to get the server up to its maximum use, to use up all the broadband that we have, and to do it with as many people as possible, so we all pay the least. Um, right. But the bottom line is, there's still going to be no point in everybody just paying $12.
It's just you have to make some assumptions and get some bounding conditions when you're trying to figure this stuff out. On the other hand, I've done that. Can afford the machine in the range that I said, and the bandwidth.
Well, like I said, there's no even point in having the fancy machine if you're not even willing to do the little bit of work of figuring out. If you can't figure out what people are using, what videos are being served the most, how the hell are you going to figure out what videos are more popular in any period of time? Another thing we discussed, where videos would slide onto different hard drives depending on their popularity, so that the videos that were being watched when they're first introduced would be on the fastest hard drive, and as they became older they would be slid onto the other hard drive. So yeah, if we can do that, we can do the little server log thing. So again, this is, well, whatever, we already talked about this shit. This is just bullshit.
I'm pretty sure that it'll support more people than we even think. So that's fine, but what am I supposed to do? Stop and make your dream metering system? It doesn't further my goals. Okay, so I would like to have a system.
Yeah. Well, your co-op doesn't service my goals. So again, we're in shares. Your share policy, fuck that. Doesn't service my goals.
That if you find, configure, install one, then that could be a labor contribution of yours or something. My labor contribution for this particular server is getting it up, keeping it running as a clip bucket server and an HTTP streaming server. And I don't want to invent a new kind of metric system. I don't want to become an expert in a metric system. That is not the primary purpose of my goal. I have never stopped talking about. We both want.
I'm not going to argue about what you stopped talking about. I'm going to argue about what we agreed to. So fuck this shit. It was over. It was done. We agreed.
No advertising. I consider that a big agreement with you and me. Who knows? It's not big enough, I guess. But I don't want it to be funded by advertising. It means the members have to pay. You say they should have to pay exactly what they use, and there's these problems.
No, I made it clear. Like I said, anybody can go listen to the Stickam conversations. All I asked for was proportional. It just had to be proportional to use. It didn't even have to be the entire value. It could have been just 50% proportional to use. That's all I argued for. But that's the minimum at least.
Well, there's a whole machine. Our users are going to use a fraction of the machine, right? And if they're using the machine when they max the machine out, the machine is not going to be performing well. It's going to be glitchy, and they won't want to pay full price for that kind of performance. But you will have used your CPU and bandwidth, right? So,
well, presumably, if we're using that much bandwidth and CPU, somebody's getting a lot of use somewhere, so somebody ought to be paying the bill.
It's always going to be a subset of the resources that are used, and you have to pay for the whole set. So you just divide it out and all this stuff. Fine, it's a system. Somebody has to invent. All right, you can't just assume it.
Yeah, and we talked about this, and we talked about the fact that the first year we might have to just eat it. And I basically conceded I was willing to do that. I was willing to sit there and buy the first year of bandwidth and just eat it.
And it's similar with ownership. A not-for-profit, the legal system is, enough. Correct me if you think I'm wrong, but the legal system is going to look at an entity as though it has a controlling authority, aka an owner. And in a not-for-profit, those are nice words, but they have a controlling entity. It's the board.
Yeah, whatever. It doesn't even have to be a board, but yeah, okay, technically it has to be two people, okay? That is the law. You have to have two people with tax records so they can be accountable, okay? They won't let one person form a 50c3. So, yeah. I mean, I've already looked into it 10 years ago, okay? And yeah, the government's a big fat pain in the ass. So yeah, it'd be better if we could find an already existing not-for-profit that would say, yes, this fits under our umbrella of things we like to do in the world.
Board, and they can't be paid. So we might have to come up with a philosophical model and then implement it. It's just like we had a software idea, and then we have to go to the languages that are actually out there.
Yeah, well, all you need to do, you write up the little statement that says this is going to be a not-for-profit server for the intention of providing internet hosting service as the cost of production. The only thing being paid are the employees and the infrastructure of the machine and the bandwidth costs. Period. There's the whatever mission statement thingy.
The ideal language we'd love to have for that particular project, but the languages that are out there, and figure how can we implement this, as a not-for-profit? How can we implement this as a limited partnership with a certain kind of set of bylaws? How can we implement this at all? And then choose among the actual options. Okay. So
yeah, whatever that means. We already talked about this. This is the least of our problems, in my opinion, is being able to write the words what a not-for-profit is. Yeah, not that complicated.
And in there, he's
stupid Professor Anton. Shut up, fucker.
So, finally, I'll agree. This is I have things that I have kept working on and that are interesting projects for me, like the debate site. That's what I want to work on. To do this is because it facilitates, and I'm just thinking, hey, maybe I should contribute my ability to do it because of all the people I'd like to talk to that are running into this problem. So one thing I agree about is how much energy is there out there to support something like this? That's why I want to go back to an earlier part of the idea where we see about getting people involved. Even if it's just people that are going to commit to using it or something, but I think it'd be better if they were committed resources in terms of worked on it or help, buy equipment for it. Because I want to know. The point is to do this. I can work on my secondary sites using YouTube until such a site as we want to create comes along on its own, but I'm not really sure that it's going to. All the people that are just mining for profit, I mean, there is a sustainable community here, but it's not the mother lode compared to the next eBay or YouTube or whatever. So, yeah, I would like to gauge what the involvement is, because I see myself as willing to do this to help facilitate something we as a community want, and kind of important to make sure the community wants it. On the other hand, I think the community does want it. It's a matter of, well, does that want translate into supporting it so that it could be sustained? And also people kind of on the edge of knowing that this is what they need and trusting that we'll do it a way that'll be useful, and then marketing it to them. And these things, all of these would be better with a group of people with differing skills. So, yeah, on the other hand, I do tend to think it's kind of right. I see a lot of people going for this kind of thing and not having the right skill set, and they're going to waste money trying to do it the amazingly wrongest way. And so, yeah, one way or another, I would definitely like to collect, get $5,000 to $7,000 together for a year of a system, and it has a year to become sustainable. So anyway, all right. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about this. I really wish other people would join in the conversation. People complain to me even about this and about the Gary promo.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, nobody has any constructive input. They just got a bunch of nitpicky bullshit, a bunch of naysaying crap. So yeah, there isn't even like I said, the only customer we're going to have is me, and maybe you. You don't want to really pay though. You'll just take an in-kind exchange. So yeah, I'm going to be the only paying customer. I'll be paying to get on the thing I paid for. Fuck.
well, if Gary's involved, but who else? Does anybody else want to? Yeah, I appreciate, Gary and I at least appreciate that we value that this conversation can go on the various ways it does and with some improvements. So other people could speak up, and I would be nice if other people would join the conversation. You're not going to hurt my feelings. I mean, when I did the math and found, it's going to be too expensive, it was a little bit of like, oh, well, I don't have to worry about setting a project up for I'm conscious when I...
yeah, and the truth is I went out and I looked and I figured out how much it cost, and I said, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I'd rather pay $200 a year or $500 a year than to give YouTube any time of my day, to give Google one tiny bit of my existence. That's right. I'd rather pay than pay the social price of endorsing that shit. And it's just pitiful that, one person. But again, the other side of this argument is that we have to come up with some kind of theater. We have to come up with a mechanism that makes some of this stuff a little bit more attractive to the general audience. We have to get some of that G audience to show up, not just the no-lifers and the obtusely intellectualized or whatever they are. But whatever. Let's not even. There's no point in even critiquing the audience. I mean, some part of me says, oh yeah, well at least we're where the intellectuals are. No, you read the comments section of the average video and you're saying these aren't intellectuals, these are fucking assholes.
Time, and this is a time commitment I want to do only because it's useful. This isn't my dream come true. I'm not making some amazing tool. We're just talking about doing a standard engineering thing to put up something that we all need, which to other people may not be so standard, might be a bit tricky. So anyway, cheers. Talk to you guys later. You later, Gary. Bye.
Yeah, well, whatever. Whatever. So we got a lot of drawing boarding to do here. And again, I just I can't make it any clearer. I've made it clear what I want, and what I want is to replace existing commercial capitalist shit business with not-for-profit business. And by not-for-profit, I don't mean the workers own it, or people have shares in it, or people make a contribution and for 30 years they get a check. No, I mean it just is the cost of the service. Nothing else attached to it. Just what it costs to provide the service. Nothing else. So anyway, and this would be a mechanism close to my heart, and so this seemed like a reasonable way to go. But blah blah blah. This is just ain't gonna happen with our differences in vision. And on top of that, we have the secondary problem is that we might as well do the other part of this cart-horse relationship, which is until we figure out how to generate an audience. What's the point? Look, we got 3 new sites. We got 3 sites out there at least. You got Fred's, you got mine, you got the other guy, Fatal Error or whatever it is. But what's on them? Nothing. There's nobody doing anything, hardly, right? So I mean, there's just nothing. There's nothing. We can't generate anything, and until we generate something, there's just no point. There's no point in high-speed servers serving low-interest content. I mean, I hate to say low value. It has value to me. I mean, obviously, I watch this shit, but it doesn't have value where it needs to have value to sustain itself. To make it worth paying for it, in a sense. Let's say if we're going to pay a premium to produce, well, if I'm going to pay thousands of dollars a year to produce, then I don't mind doing it if I have an audience to justify that. So even if I'm losing money, it's okay with me if I've got an audience that justifies the loss. Yeah, that's a pretty simple way to put it. Anyway, we'll see. Like I said, I mean, I just don't think we should. I mean, I shouldn't have to restate this. And you're just playing a bullshit game here to say that we didn't have an agreement. Because that's bullshit. It's bullshit.